everyone. In our previous video, we have discussed about the division pteridophyte which belongs to kingdom Plantae. But there were four different classes of pteridophyte which produces different spores. So if they produces a same identical spores, they are known as heterosporous spores. So we are going to write here. If they are going to produce identical spores, then they are known as homosporous. Means commonly most of the pteridophyte produces the identical spore, means homosporous. Most of the pteridophytes. And these identical spores. Some of the pteridophytes, organisms belong to pteridophytes, produces these identical spores known as heterosporous spore. So we are going to write it. These identical spores called as heterosporous and they have given us some example, that is Silanginella and Salvinia. So we are going to write Silanginella and Salvinia. So this was about some classes of pteridophytes, and we have to discuss that there are four different classes of pteridophytes, that is Psilopsida, Coelotum. They have given us an example: Coelotum, Lycopsida, Silanginella and Lycopodium, Chenopsida, Equisetum, Pteropsida, Dryopteris, Pteris and Adiantum. So this was about the pteridophyte. Now we are going to discuss about gymnosperms. First of all, when we are going to see, kingdom Plantae is also divided into two subdivisions, that is cryptogams and phanerogams. We have seen that they are having divisions that is thallophytes, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperm. But cryptogam and phanerogams are two different terms, where cryptogams belongs to all the non-seed bearing plants, means spore bearing plants, that is algae, bryophyte and pteridophyte. If we are going to discuss about gymnosperm and angiosperm, it belongs to phanerogams because it is seed bearing plants. In that, angiosperms have two different classes now, subclasses, that is dicots and monocots. So we are going to discuss about it. Now gymnosperms. Gymnosperms belongs to phanerogams, means they contain seed but they are non-flowering plants. They do not bear flowers. So non-flowering plant, seed producing, means they are non-flowering and produces seed. Sporophytic stage is dominant stage, as if we have said that the plant life cycle have two stages, sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage. Sporophytic stage is diploid in nature and gametophytic stage is haploid in nature. So here the sporophytic diploid stage is dominant, means the main parent body is sporophytic body. Seed are naked, as if we have told that in angiosperm, normal angiosperm plants, seed means from ovule seed are prepared, or ovule get converted into seed, and from ovary fruit is prepared or converted into fruit. From ovule seeds are produced and from ovary fruit is produced. But in case of gymnosperms, there is no ovary, so there is no chances of producing fruit. So non-flowering plants, and we have told there is no ovary, means no ovule. So the seed is present but seed is not germinated from ovule, means seed is not prepared from ovules, because there is no ovary and no ovules in case of gymnosperm. So the seed is not enclosed in food or fruit, so seeds are naked. As if we are talking about angiosperms, then we can say the seed is Non-naked means we can't able to see with our naked eyes because it enclosed in a fruit. But here the seed is naked, it's not having its outer covering or fruit covering. So seeds are naked. As if pteridophytes also have four different classes. Here gymnosperms also have four different classes. Gymnosperms also have four different classes, that is Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida, Gentopsida and Ginkgopsida. Cycadopsida, Cycadu, that is Cycas. Coniferopsida, Conifers, that is Pinus. Gentopsida and Ginkgopsida. Ginkgopsida bears Ginkgo biloba plant, which is a living fossil. This plant is known as a living fossil. Shows characters of their ancestors, and the most important is the giant redwood. Tallest species is sequoia. So the most important is the giant redwood. Tallest plant species is sequoia. And now we are going to discuss in detail about the conifers, because the most of the questions are asked from the conifers, means pinus trees. Gymnosperms are most evolved plants from bryophytes and pteridophytes. We are going to discuss about pinus, that is they belongs to conifers. Now they grows in a colder region, in a colder atmosphere we can say. Male axis is elongated, means we are going to draw a structure that male axis is elongated. Branches are acropetal in manner. So see, male axis is elongated. We can see the male axis is elongated and branches are in acropetal in manner. Acropetal branching. We are going to see the acropetal branching. So one here, one over here. So this is a acropetal manner. This branching is acropetal in manner. Pinus is monoecious bisexual plant. The most important, here the student get confused. Monoecious means one body. On one body, male and female part both are present. And dioecious means there were two body, means one single male body and female body is separated. So unisexual. Unisexual means male and female body is separated. Same dioecious means two body, one male and one female. So unisexual, dioecious and monoecious, bisexual. One single body which consists of male and female reproductive organ both. So monoecious, bisexual organisms. Next, lower branches are longer and older. If you are going to see at the lower branches, they are longer and they are older. And upper branches are shorter and younger. If you are going to see here, the upper branches are short and they are younger branches. If covered with leaves, give a cone-like structure. If they are covered with leaves, then gives us cone-like structure. Here we can see a cone-like structure if they are covered with leaves. So now we are going to discuss in detail how the structure of male cone and female reproductive organ is present on this pinus plant. Here we are going to discuss about the stem and leaf part of pinus leaves. Now we have discussed that it consists of acropetal branching and male axis, main male axis. So now we are going to discuss that they contain stem region, that is long shoot branch and dwarf shoot branch, or we can tell it as a short branches also. So now see here, the long shoot branch consists of terminal bud or apical bud which grows continuously and shows unlimited growth. And dwarf shoot does not contain any bud part, so hence they shows limited growth. So we are going to see the structure. Hence here they have said this is a male cone or a male region, male axis. So it has a apical bud over here which shows continuous growth, and dwarf shoot, that is They are in acropetal manner. Okay. Now this shows us leafy structure, leaf-like structure, scaly leaves. It covers the long shoot region. The scaly leaves covers the long shoot region. So we are going to draw here. This is the scaly leaves which covers the male axis, and from male axis only the short branches are formed, or we can say it as a dwarf shoots are formed from the male axis. Now the foliar leaves are grown on the, we are going to see the proper structuring. This is a proper structuring of a pinus plant. They have told this is a long shoot. This is a dwarf shoot. And these are the scaly leaves. Here we can see scaly leaves present on a long axis or a male axis. So scaly leaves. Foliar leaves arises at the tip of dwarf shoot. Dwarf shoot. This is a foliar leaves which are arise from the dwarf shoots. Now if we can see the structure, this scaly leaf have the structure for the protection of male axis. Means we can write here the protection, function is for the protection, and foliar leaves is to minimize. It is a needle shape, green in color and needle shape structure which perform a sunken stromata, which consists of a sunken stromata where the loss of water is minimized. So avoid the water transportation. It avoids the water transpiration. So sunken stromata. Here you can see the needle-like structure which minimize a water transpiration. These are foliar leaves. Next, sporophylous leaves. Sporophylous leaves, in case they have said that microsporophylls and macrosporophylls. These sporophylous leaves are grown from the leafy cone-like structure. We can see here the clusters. Leaves are present in cluster and forms a cone-like structure. So, male cone in the form of crown or cone. Okay, crown or crown-like structure. They have told microsporophylous means microspores, means micro leaves, and male spores. Microsporophylls produces a male spores and macrosporophylls produces a female spores. So macro means bigger and it belongs to female, and micro means smaller which belongs to male. Now we have seen about the male part here, but the female part or the female reproductive organ is also present on the single plant body only, but it is in a single. Here the male cone is in the cluster form. It is present in the form of cluster, we can write here. It is in the cluster form, and if we are going to see the female cone, it is a singly present over here. This is a female cone which arises from the male axis. So here we can write it female cone. Here you can see the structure which we have discussed over here. that is long shoot, long branch have terminal bud or apical bud which shows continuous growth, and dwarf shoot do not have. Here we can't able to see a bud which shows unlimited growth. As well as we have discussed about the leaves, that is scaly leaves, which is protective in function, which covers all the male axis. Foliar leaves which have sunken stomata to minimize the rate of water transpiration. So here we can see a needle-like structure which is green in color, performs photosynthesis. Here we have seen sporophilous leaf, where microsporophilous, small means male spores are produced, and macrosporophilous means larger, which produces a female spores. So female spores or the female cone is arranged singly and male cone is arranged in the form of cluster. So we have discussed about it. Now we are going to discuss in detail how the main male cone is present and what is the structure of female cone. Now we are going to discuss about the male cone, and afterwards we are going to discuss about the female cone. So male cone grows in cluster, as if we have discussed in the structure that male cone grows in a structure at the tip of the main axis. Dispersion is anemophilous, or else we can say it as a pollination is anemophilous. They have told many microsporophylls are arranged at the central axis to form a complex structure called as cone. So as if we have discussed sporophylous leaves, so we have discussed that microsporophylls means male spores. So here we have seen that microsporophylls. The microsporophylls are arranged in a complex structure to form a cone-like structure. So we are going to discuss about it, and later on we are going to discuss about this structure. So we know that the male cone is arranged in the form of cluster. Here we can see a cluster structure. Male or this part, one of the part, then we are able to see this structure. If we are going to enlarge this structure, then we can able to see this structure. And this is a microsporophylls. So they have told us many microsporophylls are arranged at the central axis. This is a central axis. Central axis, and this is a microsporophyll. Okay. If we are going to enlarge this microsporophyll, this is a side view, means this structure. And if we are going to see a total structure, then we can able to see this way. So we can able to enlarge this structure and we can able to see a structure. This structure, and this structure consists of microsporangium, a sac-like structure which is known as microsporangium. A sac-like structure which is microsporangium and have number of microspore mother cell. Microsporangium have number of microspore mother cell. So here is the structure which we are going to see. This is the microsporangium, a sac-like structure, and this sac-like structure consists of number of microspore mother cell which is diploid in nature. When this microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, it's going to be form 4 daughter cells which are haploid in nature and known as microsporos or microspores. Under meiosis forms 4 haploid microspores. As if we have discussed microspore, as if we have discussed, microsporophylls produce microspore and megasporophylls produce megaspores, means female spore. Here this is a male spore. So this microspore or one haploid microspore is going to germinate into a mature pollen grain. So we can able to see here the pollen grain. And if you want to see a structure of pollen grain, it consists of 2 layers, that is inner layer is intine and the outer layer is winged structure, butterfly wing structure, which is stretched and called as a exine. So we can able to see this is an intine, and if you are going to see an exine which is winged structure, it is so this is intine, inner layer, and exine which is winged structure and stretched structure, it is exine. So now see here, to ensure the pollination and fertilization, the number of pollen grains are very large. So first of all we have discussed that the microsporophylls are arranged at the central axis to form a complex structure called as cone. Here we have seen a cluster structure. This is a cluster. And we have seen here the main axis have number of microsporophylls. If we are going to enlarge one microsporophyll, it consists of, each microsporophyll consists 2 microsporangium, means a sac-like structure, which consists of number of microspore mother cell. When each microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, forms of 4 microspores, and after these microspore get mature or germinate, forms a pollen grain which is a male gamete. Here you can see the structure of pollen grain. Just to ensure the pollination and fertilization, the number of pollen grains are very large. First of all, we have discussed dispersion or the pollination is anemophilous, means the external energy, that is wind, and we can't able to ensure that, means if the direction of wind is wrong, totally wrong, then we can't able to ensure that the male pollen grains are going to reach towards the female part. So to ensure the pollination and the chances of fertilization, the pollen number of pollen grains are very large. This is the one condition, and these pollen grains are sulphury yellow in color, so known as a sulfur yellow color pollen grains. Sulfur yellow color. As if you are going to see the number of pollen grains in the pinus forest, if we are going to discuss about the pinus forest, we can able to see a dusty cloudy structure in the forest because the pollen grains are formed in large number as well as it is dusty in nature and sulfur yellow in color. So when large number of pollen grains are formed in a forest of pinus tree, then we can able to call it as a sulfur yellow clouds, means sulfur clouds. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the female cone which is arranged singly. Now we have discussed that the male cone is arranged in cluster form. Now we are going to discuss about the female cone. Now we are going to discuss about the female cone. Female cone is larger than the male cone. It is not formed in a cluster. It is a singly arranged structure. Vertical section, if we are going to see about the male cone, then central axis have megaspores are spirally arranged. It takes long period to develop 2 to 3 years. Means the female cone needs 2 to 3 years to develop or to get a maturity. So we are going to discuss about the female cone. We have seen the female cone is in the form of this structure. It is singly arranged and larger than the male cone. If we enlarge, then we can able to see a structure. Main axis. This is a main axis, and in this manner the megasporophylls are arranged. Megasporophylls which belongs to female part or female cone. So we can able to see a structure, and they have megasporangium or megasporogium, a sac-like structure. If we are going to enlarge this megasporophyll, this is a megasporophylls. And if we are going to enlarge this megasporophyll, we are going to see the structure. Here the structure is here the ovary structure, and here the pollen grain is going to come and get fertilized after 15 months. Okay, so this is a structure. Here you can see ovuliferous bract, and a bract scale, small bract scale. This small bract scale is for holding the pollen grain for a long period of time, approximately 15 months. So ovuliferous bract is a larger bract which contains ovuliferous unitegumate ovule. This is the egg which is known as ovuliferous unitegumate ovule. So we can enlarge this structure. Then we can able to see this kind of structure where unitegment means single integuments. So here you can see a structure of ovule. This kind of structure we can able to see here. This is a structure of megasporophyll, and here we can able to see megasporangium, a sac-like structure which produces a egg cell here, and when the pollen grain fuses with egg cell, it's going to be formed zygote, and then zygote germinates or develop into a ovule, and ovule germinates into a seed-like structure which is a naked because it doesn't consist of ovary. So ovary is converted into fruit and ovule is converted into seed. So here just ovule is present, so ovule is converted into seed, but there is no ovary, so no fruit covering, and we can able to see a seed. So seeds are naked in case of gymnosperms. As if we have discussed, megasporophylls have large woody structure called as ovuliferous bract. Here this is a woody structure called as ovuliferous bract, and the small bract which consist or which have a capability to hold a pollen grain for large period of time, approximately 15 months for fertilization. Then it is known as a bract scale. The most important, they have told us orthotropous unitegumate ovule. Orthotropous unitegumate ovule means they are made up of single integument, and this is a orthotropous ovule. So they have told us orthotropous unitegumate ovule. They have given us an example of Pinus, that is Girardiana. Girardiana is a common name of Chilgoza. Chilgoza is edible for human beings, but other seeds of gymnosperms are edible for animals. So this was about the gymnosperms. In our next video, we are going to see about the short description of gymnosperms, that is cycas plant, and then we are going to begin with angiosperms. So thank you friends for watching my video.